They were out early one morning, panning in the stream for gold, surrounded by the rising mountains. Old prospector with a tale for two, he brushed around in the pan, and pointing out what lay within was ordinary sand. He began with his story about 20 years before, and a younger man who sought his fortune. With a tear or two he told of searching for his treasure, but making known the gold he sought was ordinary pleasure. There were years of doing without, and there were years of plenty. I started thinking that life was never steady, excepting when the bills came in and I had no money to pay. Whiskey had never tasted better ordinarily. He concluded his story as it filled the air with a laugh, saying how he found the Lord and Savior, and how he found the river of life by which his day unfolds, and pointing out what stands within is not ordinary gold, and pointing out what stands within is not ordinary gold. Trust in God, believe upon His promises. Through His word we can see His wonders, signs and miracles of His love. We can return His love with devotion, standing on His word before all men. We are His beloved and His chosen, walking in this life renewed with peace. Trust in God, believe upon His promises. see his wonders, signs and miracles of his love. We can return his love with devotion, standing on his word before all men. We are his beloved and his chosen, walking in this life renewed with peace. Trust in God, believe upon his promises. Trust in God, believe upon his promises. Believe upon his promises.
All right, welcome. My name is Mark Wallace. This is True North Studio, and the topic today is enjoy more signs, miracles, and wonders. Now, there's not much in life that captures the imagination and stirs the heart like a good miracle. Think of Moses splitting the Red Sea, Jesus walking on the water, or Daniel surviving a night in the lion's den. All of us believe in miracles. If you think about it, we wouldn't even be able to get born again if we didn't believe in miracles. We believe that God raised Jesus from the dead after he was in the grave for 3 days and 3 nights, and we believe that he's still alive today. There are those who claim that miracles can be explained away scientifically. Others call it simple coincidence, and I'll take what they term simple coincidence over a boring life any day. Even many Bible scholars say that miracles were just for certain people at a certain time for a specific purpose. And I say, we're those certain people. Now is the time, and we will find the purpose for each and every miracle. Signs, miracles, and wonders are not subject to, nor limited by, the laws of nature or man. They're supernatural. They're beyond the senses. Miracles are super, and they should be natural. Now, we all love a good miracle because it fills us with wonder and gets us thinking about the greatness of God. You see, but what if there were no miracles? What if there were no miracles? Would we tell our children the story of Moses parting the red hair of his daughter? You know, would we watch movies about Samson glancing at his big muscles in the gym mirror and winking at himself? Would we tell the amazing story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego surviving a rather warm summer in France? You see, hey, the story of Daniel in a den of puppies, or Jonah oversharing about his 3 amazing days and 3 crazy nights on a cruise ship might trend on YouTube for a week or two, but then what? Would people still be talking about Noah building a rather large umbrella and singing in the rain? I don't think so. Well, here's a funny story. Did you know that the owners of a full-scale size replica of Noah's Ark in Kentucky sued their insurance company in 2019? The owners claimed they suffered torturous injury when their insurance company failed to adequately compensate them for damage caused by recent heavy rains. That's from CNN. You see, 2019. Now, you can't make that stuff up. You can't make it up. Without miracles, the Bible would be a slightly less colorful book. It would not be read at night to children. Teens wouldn't dream of slaying their giants. Adults wouldn't pray for healing or dream of raising a loved one from the dead. None of us could imagine doing the same mighty works as Jesus Christ if he never did any. Face it, either you believe in miracles or you want to. Either you believe in miracles or you want to. You were made for miracles. You shine because of miracles. Plus, you're so amazing, I wonder about you. So let's take a look and see if we can pick up a few simple tips so that we too can enjoy more signs, miracles, and wonders. Now I'm going to define the terms signs, miracles, and wonders. Now most of us clump signs, miracles, and wonders into one beautiful package. Yet there are three distinct words that mean three distinct things. Now even the translators make the words seem synonymous, and they interchange them at will. These words don't mean the same thing. A sign is not a miracle, and a miracle is not a wonder. A sign, or Simeon, always means a flag. It means a flag or a symbol or a signal. You see, think of a street sign or a name badge, a name tag, or the flag of a country. For example, if you're from the U.S. and you're visiting beautiful Italy and you see an American flag, does it make you think of home? Yeah, makes you think of home. A sign directs our attention to some specific place. A sign is the flag that reminds us to think about God. A sign lets us know where this mighty work came from, and that it came from God and not man. A miracle, dunamis, as Bullinger calls it, is the power and might in action. See, a miracle can be instantaneous or could unfold over time. You know, I mean, we have to understand this word miracle. You know, we've all experienced them. You know, if you think about unfolding over time, the children of Israel, it was a miracle that their clothes did not wear out for 40 years. Wasn't that a miracle? That's a miracle that unfolded over 40 years. What about manna they were fed for 40 years? That's a miracle that took 40 years to unfold. So they can happen instantly or they can take a long time. And I think you've experienced both. Now a wonder. A wonder is the word teras, T-E-R-A-S, which means a supernatural prodigy. A supernatural prodigy. It's a surprising example that makes us anticipate a bright future. A wonder always gives hope. Now, I once saw a baby in a stroller, in diapers, spelling out the names of each car as his mom slowly rolled him down the sidewalk of a strip mall. I heard a small voice say, F-O-R-D, Ford. D-O-D-G-E, Dodge. And then I heard C-H-E-V-R-O-L-E-T, Chevrolet. And I was like flabbergasted. I was like, what? This was a baby in diapers. You see, I asked the mom how long she'd been teaching her child to read, and she said, I never did. I got 3 other kids. I don't have time. He just picked it up on his own. See, that had to be a child prodigy, but it made me wonder what that kid will do someday. You see, that was not a biblical wonder, but he was a wonder child. You know, so, a wonder surprises us. A wonder gets us thinking, what could be? What could be? A wonder startles us into thinking something great is about to happen. A wonder gives us hope for the future. You know, if a signs, miracles, and wonders were cars, a sign would be that very noticeable Amazon delivery vehicle with that light blue smile on the side. And we're thinking, I just know Mr. Amazon's going to come into my house and is going to drop something fun off for me. You see, that'd be like a sign. Now, if a vehicle was a miracle, it would be a Lamborghini Huracan. You see, with a V12 engine so powerful, it can be felt in every bone of your body. It'll make you give thanks to the engineers back in Italy. Now, a wonder would be that red work truck pulling up to your neighbor's home, stacked full of tools, cords, lumber, and cement stacks. 5 men get out of it. And I think, I wonder how they all fit in there. And I wonder what they're building. I bet it's going to look nice. See, a sign redirects our attention back to God. A miracle is God's divine power manifested in ways that only He can do, and a wonder is God's supernatural surprise that gives hope. Signs, miracles, and wonders are three distinct words that mean three distinct things. Now we're going to go into signs, miracles, and wonders working together. You see, now there are only 6 places in the Bible where these three words are all used in the same verse. Let's take a quick look. Now remember that a sign points your mind back to God, a miracle shows off God's superabundant power, and a wonder amazes you and gives you hope of a better future. So here's number 1. Jesus pointed mankind back to God. Now He showed off the miraculous power of God. He made people wonder and He gave them hope. Acts 2:22. You men of Israel, hear these words. Jesus of Nazareth, the man approved or shown off of God among you by miracles and wonders and signs, which God did by Him in the midst of you, as you yourselves also know. Now concerning signs, miracles, and wonders, God has 1,000 years to work out your one day, 2 Peter 3:8. See, God has all the time in the world to work on your much needed miracle. We all need them. Miracles are easy for God. Jesus said that we can do the same works that He did and greater works. John 14:12. And see, I believe that you can do the same works, and I believe that you do the same works. Now, number 2, the second of the 6 talks about Stephen, a young believer who directed people to God. He did the miraculous. He made other believers wonder if they could do the same as he was doing. Acts 6 verse 8. And Stephen, full of faith and power, which is miracles, he did great wonders and miracles amongst the people. And that word miracle should be the word signs amongst the people. Now here the translators mix things up a bit. The word power should be miracle, and the word for miracle is the word sign. Like I told you, they mix them up, the translators. But all 3 words are present and accounted for, so I'll give them that. Now, Stephen was overflowing with believing. He totally believed that he would see signs, miracles, and wonders. And so what happened? He did. That means that we too should fully expect, totally believe, be fully convinced that the miraculous can and will happen for us. Why not? If Stephen can be overflowing with believing so that miracles poured off of him, then we can too. Now, number 3. Now we move from a person to the Spirit of God. See, first it was Jesus, the first one. Second one was Stephen. And now we're talking about the Spirit of God. And this is that Spirit of God that's in all of us. Our Holy Spirit is a mighty and miraculous power that's part of our gift. And as we put the Spirit of God into operation, we too can do the miraculous and bring people back to God. Romans 15:19. Through mighty, miraculous signs and wonders, by the miraculous power of the Spirit of God, so that from Jerusalem and round about unto Illyricum, I have fully preached the gospel of Christ. Now that verse is saying that the miraculous power, the miraculous signs, and miraculous wonders are because of the Spirit of God that we each have been given. What I'm trying to say here, folks, is that we can and we should expect to see more miracles in our life. That's what I'm trying to get to. So we've gone through 3 of these now. You see, first it was Jesus, then it was Stephen, then it's the Spirit of God. See, you are even more amazing than I thought you were because of that verse. Now, number 4. Number 4 talks about something called the signs of an apostle. And the verse defines an apostle as one who cheerfully and patiently helps his or her people by directing them back to God, by instilling them with wonder and hope, and by doing the same amazing deeds. Just read it. That's really what it's talking about. It just brings people back to God by instilling them with wonder and hope and doing the same by doing some amazing deeds. So an apostle is a pretty big deal. Apostle walks a miraculous life. They're supposed to. See, now 2 Corinthians 12:12. Truly, the signs of an apostle were wrought among you in all patience, in signs and wonders and mighty deeds or miracles. Now, how many people do you know who can maintain focus while patiently enduring knuckleheads? How many people do you know that can manifest amazing power? How many people do you know that can lead people back to God? Well, you know, it's interesting to note in this verse that the verse doesn't say that an apostle necessarily needs to be present in order for the signs of an apostle to be manifest. See, now there's not many apostles, or maybe there are. Actually, that verse sounds a lot to me like you. Now, number 5. This one sort of blows my mind. It mentions that even Satan can perform signs, miracles, and wonders, albeit lying signs, miracles, and wonders. 2 Thessalonians 2:9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power, which is miracles, and signs and lying wonders. See, the devil and some of his players can perform signs, miracles, and lying wonders just like sons and daughters of God. It's hard to tell the difference at times. So how do you tell the difference? How do you tell the difference between a lying sign, miracle, and wonder, or one that's true? You see? How can you tell if it's from God or from Satan? There has to be a way. There's got to be a way. First, you ask yourself if the miracle or wonder you just saw points your mind back to God, or does it make you more impressed with the person who did the miracle? Which way does your heart point? Does it make you think that that person, that motivational speaker, that pastor, that religious leader is the source of the power? Which way does it get you looking? And that's going to tell you if it's true or if it's a lie. You see, next, if you did that mighty work, does it make you feel special? Do you feel powerful because you just did some mighty thing? You see, are you the power of God? See, many ministers take the credit, and so do many people in their congregations. They give them the credit. Well, come to our church because we have an apostle. We have a pastor that really knows how to help people. You know, I mean, it's not about the person. It's about God. People are good. I like people, but I like God a lot better. You see, when people think they are the special ones, it's a dangerous place to visit. Now, I once knew a minister who believed he could talk to the dead and straighten things out between the dead and the living. And this was someone who was in the same ministry that I was in at the time. Now, I'm not sure what school they went to, but I never went to that same school. But he thought that he was the power of God. See, the devil eventually stole this man's health, destroyed his family, and killed his impact. He simply faded into oblivion and eventually killed himself. You see, this man who was a friend of mine, he slowly got tricked out of his life and ministry by lying signs and wonders. And I'm telling you, they were big too. It wasn't small stuff. Satan is very good at being very bad. He's a master of disguise and trickery. If he had a tagline, it would say, "Deceiving humanity for over 6,000 years." See, verse 8 of 2 Thessalonians 2 tells us that the only way to ever beat Satan is with the power of the Spirit of God. Now that makes me think. You know, the steal, kill, and destroy of John 10:10 is mostly about the adversary working to keep us from operating the Spirit of God. It's got to be, if it's the only thing that can beat him. The Spirit of God is the only way that we can beat our enemy. Also, the Spirit of God can help you see where you are going wrong when you want to see it, if you're ready to see it. Now, what I love about all of you is that you're very good at recognizing the difference between good and best, which means that you're very good at recognizing the difference between Satan and God. It also means that you're very good at separating the difference between lying signs and wonders and true signs and wonders. You are amazing people. Now, 6. This is the final verse that contains all 3 words. And it's talking about all of us and what we've been given as we work together. This is a big verse. When we manifest our personal gift as a group, we're going to attract people back to God in miraculous ways. So Hebrews 2, verse 4. God also bearing them witness, both with signs and wonders and with diverse miracles and gifts of the Holy Ghost according to his own will. Notice that at the end of that verse it says gifts of the Holy Spirit. This is more than the gift of Holy Spirit we all have. This is the gifts given to the body of Christ. It's a gift, it's the Spirit of God. It's the gifts of healings. It's the gift ministries of Ephesians. It's the whole package. See, God will make signs, miracles, and wonders come to you in large and varying and noticeable ways. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you really ready to see more signs, miracles, and wonders? They're possible, folks. Why would he have put this stuff in the Bible? See, whatever gift you need at whatever time will be there for you. God knows exactly what you need. Are you expecting it? See, a sign will be as noticeable as a street sign or your country's flag. It tells you exactly where you stand and who you stand with. It should direct your attention to God. A miracle is the supernatural power of God unfolded or manifested instantaneously or unfolded over time. A wonder is both exciting and surprising at the same time, like a prodigy. A wonder is amazing now and makes us wonder how much better the future is going to be because of it. These 6 verses show us that signs, miracles, and wonders are possible and should be expected. Now we're going to talk about 3 simple ways to enjoy more signs, miracles, and wonders. Now a question you all may be asking is there anything I can do to better my chances at seeing more signs, miracles, and wonders? Sure there is. Of course, you don't say it that stupidly. You know, there are 3 simple tips Jesus taught his disciples that improve their chances at more miracles. Now, we just read 6 verses. These are tips now on something that we can do so that we can see more. We can improve our chances, let's say, to see more miracles. And they're going to work for you too. They work for them. They're going to work for you too. And so the first one is to increase your believing. Then there's elevate your lifestyle. And the third is remember your miracles. And we're going to go over these again. And these are 3 things that any of us can work on so that we can see more miracles. First, how do we increase our believing? Now this is a biggie. Jesus knew that everything we have in our life is tied to our believing or lack of it. If we find a way to build our believing, we can change everything in our lives. And I mean everything. Believing can move mountains. Mark 11. 22 and 23. And Jesus answering saith unto them, have faith in or of God. Verse 23, for verily I say unto you that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Jesus was either telling the truth or a lie there. A few versions tell us to have the faith of God. See, faith in God is a bit different than having the faith of God. Having faith in God puts the burden of believing back on God, but having the believing of God places the burden of believing squarely back on our shoulders. You know, Jesus was teaching that God will always supply. He's always going to supply all our need, but the weight of believing lies squarely on our backs. Jesus taught 4 things that cut our believing. And he said that these 4 believing bustards are anxiety, fear, doubt, and oversharing. Now take a look. So now we're the first, I told you there's 3 things that are going to help us. And this is 4 parts of that first thing. First part is building our believing. So now we're going to learn about 3 things, 3 things that Jesus said will help us. And this is going to help you build your believing. The first one is anxiety. doesn't help you. This is what hurts you. This is a believing buster, I should say. 6 times anxiety is mentioned in Matthew chapter 6. And like us, the disciples, they built up anxiety when they were over concerned about their basic needs being met as they entered this new phase of life. Can you imagine what went on in their minds? Some of those guys had families, they had wives, they had children, they had mother-in-laws they took care of, they had professions, and now they're going to follow Jesus. How are they going to support themselves? Some of you have been through stuff like that. You move, you get out of the service, you get out of college, what am I going to do now? It's a lot. See, they'd left families, careers, and a stable life to follow Jesus. Maybe you too are stepping into the unknown. Maybe life just threw you a curveball, with health or something. You see, Jesus taught them that expecting God's care builds believing, but anxiety dilutes it. Positive believing beats anxiety and gets us what we need. So why be anxious? So the first thing we have to beat is anxiety. Okay, now the next one is fear. Fear. Matthew 8:26 says the apostles were afraid for their lives. During a rather bad storm. See, we've all feared for our lives at certain points. Finances, failed relationships, war, natural disasters, and health issues top the list. Jesus taught them that expecting the miraculous builds believing, and believing eradicates fear. So as we believe that God will calm our storms, there will be no room for fear. So, we had anxiety, and then there's fear. Now we're going to talk about doubt. See, in Matthew 14:31, Peter begins to sink after actually walking on the water like Jesus had done. And we've all had that sinking feeling at times because of certain things. Okay? We've all done something great only to have it taken away. Jesus taught Peter that his double-minded doubt was cutting his believing to do the miraculous. Choosing the positive path and sticking with it, no matter what's going on around us, builds believing. So why doubt? Okay, so there was another one. And now the final one we're going to share, I said 3, there's 4 actually, is oversharing. And it's sort of a funny one. Because I do this sometimes. We all do it. In Matthew 6:18, the apostles, while rowing across Lake Galilee, were oversharing with each other regarding the fact that they had all forgotten to bring food on the trip. Oops. At that point on the boat in the middle of the lake, there was nothing that could be done about it. Yet they kept talking and talking and talking and talking about what they didn't have and what they didn't do. They kept reflecting back on what they didn't do or didn't have. They overly and openly discussed lack. They openly and overly discuss lack. Now, we've all done that at times. You get with your best buddy, your best girlfriend, your friend, and you talk about the negatives of the country or of society or whatever, and you just keep going over and over it until you see their eyes roll back in their heads. You see? Well, the apostles did that. We've all done it. And we overshare the negative and we drive ourselves and each other crazy. You see, Jesus taught them that believing is cut by oversharing the negative. So let's highlight our successes and not overshare our failures. Don't overshare. So when you're feeling a bit anxious, reflect back on God's care. When that little fear begins to creep in, know that God will calm your storms. When you begin to doubt yourself, like you haven't in a long time, focus only on the positive path and stick with it. And when you're sick of hearing yourself oversharing the negative with yourself and others, change the conversation to the godly highlights of your life. So increasing our believing is step 1 on our way to see more signs, miracles, and wonders. Now the second thing. So remember, the first is believing. And those were the 4 believing busters we have to beat. Now we're on the second thing that Jesus said. Okay? So how do we improve our lifestyle? And this, you can read about this in Mark 9:28 and 29. But step 2 in seeing more signs, miracles, and wonders is by improving our lifestyle. Well, what does that mean? Lifestyle is a lifetime event. It's a lifetime topic. You know, how we were raised and how we raised ourselves back up all determines our lifestyle. You see, the words that you tell yourself, the culture that we live in, the country that we live in, the media, religion, politics, all take a toll on our lifestyle. And those things have helped mold you into who you are and what you expect to receive right now. Your lifestyle right now is a culmination of your entire life. So it's not easy to change as Jesus and his apostles were about to find out. The apostles asked Jesus why they couldn't heal a young man who had a big problem. You know, after all, they'd done it 1,000,000 times. They'd helped 1,000,000 people. You see, Jesus told them that this particular type of problem can only be resolved through prayer and fasting. Now, prayer and fasting, folks, is code speak for a lifestyle of loving service while maintaining a warrior mindset. It's a lifestyle of loving service while maintaining a warrior mindset. Isaiah 58:6 and 7. We're going to read Isaiah 58:6. And it says, "What I want in a fast is this, to liberate those tied down and to bring back those tied down and held back by injustice, to lighten the load of those heavily burdened, to free the oppressed, and to shatter every type of oppression." See, some people are more prepared for certain types of miracles because of certain good habits they've built and the lifestyle that's been thrust upon them. Just like some people are better at math than maybe you are, doesn't mean they're better. They're just better at that. Just because of your lifestyle, you may be better at a certain type of miracle than somebody else. Cool. Cool. And they're probably going to be better at a certain type of miracle than you. Great. So in order to see more signs, miracles, and wonders, we got to keep improving our lifestyle. And the easiest way to improve our lifestyle is to get out of ourselves and get into helping others. Improving our lifestyle is the second way to see more signs, miracles, and wonders. Building our believing is the first. Both are important. Now the third, remember to remember the miraculous. That's the third one. Remember to remember the miraculous. And you can read about this in Mark 6:48 through 52 and Matthew 16:5 through 10. And so now we're going to hit the third way that we're going to see more signs, miracles, and wonders. And we remember to remember the miraculous. Now, it seems easy, but it's not, folks. Especially when the pressure's on. It's hard to remember the good. Mark 6:48 through 52. "And he, Jesus, saw them toiling and rowing, for the wind was contrary unto them. And about the 4th watch of the night, he came unto them walking upon the sea, and would have passed by them." I like that. You know, but when they saw him walking upon the sea, they supposed it had been a spirit, and they cried out. I think that's funny. These were fishermen. These were tough guys. Now you hear them screaming like a little schoolgirl. You see, I mean, I guess I can't say that anymore, can I? No. Like a school child. You see, and they cried out. Verse 50. "For they all saw him and were troubled, all say, and immediately he talked with them and saith unto them, Be of good cheer, it's I, be not afraid. And he went up unto them into the ship, and the wind ceased, and they were sore amazed in themselves beyond measure, and wondered, for they considered not the miracle of the loaves, for their heart was hardened." Now, a hardened heart is also a heart that's not believing. You see, and there's a reason the great apostles failed to believe God to deliver them in that storm before Jesus walked on the scene. Now, of course, when Jesus got there, everything was fine then, right?
Yes.
You know, the storm stops, they appear at the land, and they're like, what? I mean, they were flipping out, you see. But there's a reason these great, great apostles failed to believe God to deliver them. And the reason that they did not expect the miraculous is simply because they did not think back, did not remember the miracle feeding of thousands and thousands that they had just been a part of a few hours ago. Now, it seems like that would be hard to forget. If you had just fed 5,000 people plus women and children with a few loaves of bread and a few fishes, and now you get out on this boat and you get caught in a storm and Jesus comes walking to you on the water and you scream, you see, and then he gets in the boat, the storm stops. Next thing you know, the next instant you're at the shore. Okay, now all that stuff might make you forget what you did that afternoon, right? It's a lot of stuff to process. We've all had days like that. So much happened. So many things came at us. It's hard to even remember what we ate for breakfast. You see, they went back to their old way of dealing with pressure. You see, which was freaking out and rowing harder. And some of us do that. We just put our head down and work harder. Well, the well-worn path to the miraculous is to remember the miraculous that we've already seen, read, or been a part of. I'm going to say that again. One of the keys, one of the tips on the road to seeing more signs, miracles, and wonders is to remember the miraculous that you've already seen, heard about, or done. Now, Jesus taught us three basic things if we want to see more signs, miracles, and wonders. One, we increase our believing by overriding our fear, anxiety, and doubt with positives, and we stop oversharing the negatives. Two, we improve our lifestyles by getting out of ourselves and getting into helping others. And three, we remember the miraculous. So in closing, there's not much in life that captures the imagination and stirs the heart like a good miracle. We've all experienced them. See, we may not need to part the Red Sea, or walk on the water, or survive the night in a lion's den, or a puppy's den, but we can still experience the miraculous. Your miracles will be specific to you, folks. They're going to be specific to you. Signs, miracles, and wonders may come instantly, or they may unfold for you over time. I don't know, but I do know one thing: they will come. So as we notice the signs, as we expect the miracles, our lives will be a wonder. See, let's build our believing. Let's advance our lifestyle, and let's remember. Let's enjoy more signs, miracles, and wonders. God bless.
They were out early one morning, panning in the stream for gold.